It is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi who makes Dr. Shashi Tharoor an ambassador for Swachh Bharat. It is Dr. Harshvardhan who says that AIIMS was never pressurized by Dr. Shashi Tharoor. It is Rajnath Singh, under whom the Home Ministry is functioning, and Mr. Bassi is the police commissioner. So why doesn't the BJP and the BJP spokesperson today on your channel condemn Dr. Swamy and say, do not sensationalize the case, let the law take its own course? Why this business of not condemning
on every other issue they try to politicize it?
Want their 5 minutes of
and
fame.
If my friend is going to say so, you can just imagine that they are just trying to score brownie points over each and every issue which is there in the public domain. This is a case of criminal investigation. It has been initiated. We are saying that let us await the outcome, and nobody should have any problem with investigation being initiated and in pursuit of truth and justice, apart from somebody who has something to hide.
Just a minute, just for a moment. Let's just look at the facts, and we're going to stick to the facts. You wanted to make a point there at the moment, Vikram Singh, while you were hearing what was being said.
Yes, politics apart, I would say purely from the standpoint of professional investigation, there are certain things that need to be answered. Number one, why was room 307 changed to 345? Why was the CCTV switched off? Was it deliberate or accidental? Number three, the attendant on that floor, why was he dismissed from service and he did not service thereafter? Next, 12 injury marks, are they post-mortem or ante-mortem? And if they are ante-mortem, what was the origin of these injuries? Next, and last but not the least, was the scene of crime dressed up? And if dressed up, were the two individuals, did they visit the room? If at all, this is also a very important piece of evidence. The last 5 calls made by Sunanda ji and the last 5 calls received, they would be in fact indicative of the mindset, and one of these calls would happen to be her dying declaration.
You know, one of those calls, of course, was to you. Now, I'm being told by a viewer, and he's a doctor, says that, look, some of those marks which have been shown, and there have been question marks which we debated whether we should be showing those images of Sunanda's body. The dignity of the body is important, but those marks are also now becoming important in the course of the investigation, which is why we've shown those marks. But there are doctors who are saying they could be caused by lupus. Am I correct, Dr. Agarwal, before I go to Nalini Singh, that these marks can also be caused by lupus if she was suffering from lupus?
The post-mortem report clearly says there was no lupus. We have already seen it on the media.
So that's ruled out.
But I want to raise another point.
Yes.
I want to raise another point is that in a high-profile case, if you cannot investigate even in the best of the premier institution, what might be happening in an ordinary cases? Yes, thousands of cases in India, homicidal cases might be going as suicidal because of non-availability. And as the Secretary General of IMI, I want to raise this point to the Government of India, to kindly make forensic labs available in every district, so that the justice.
I think you make a very valid point,
and not in a high-profile case.
You know, I think you make a very valid point, and I'm sure as a lawyer you find this. I mean, you know, here is a situation where the Indian labs in the 21st century have to send their viscera abroad, have to have the poison tested abroad. What does that say about our legal system, about our criminal justice system?
Criminal justice system, our medical system, our forensic processes, and of course our legal system. The court's delays is a separate matter, but we all know about it. We are nominally in the 21st century, but I think our processes all around,
please allow me to point
the
out,
19th century.
Rajdeep,
yes, quick response.
May I respond to this?
Yes. Quickly respond.
No, the NDA government in the last budget has made specific budgetary allocations for setting many forensic science laboratories.
Well, they still have it.
This was for the UPA government, which was there for past 10 years.
Yes.
They did absolutely nothing at all on this front.
You know, can I?
There are some FSL labs which are already in process, and you will see them being operationalized very soon, Rajdeep.
You know,
Rajdeep, the numbers of unsolved deaths, murders and suicide, that number is growing phenomenally in our country. But, do you know, when you have put out this image of Sunanda on that bed, so
no, I'm wondering whether I've made a mistake. I'm willing to concede that maybe we should not be showing those pictures, close-ups of a body. Ultimately, it's the dignity of the dead person, and I'm willing to accept on this program that maybe it was wrong. But I'm saying, the fact is that this is now a high-profile criminal investigation where every little piece of evidence will now be looked at with a microscope. But
don't forget also, can I just come in for a minute? Don't forget that even after the death, there was mention in the news reports that there were marks. So it's not something which you are revealing for the first time. It's only a question of a visual. The question is only of a visual.
The question is of a visual, and the question is what caused those marks? Was it a scuffle? Was it the fact that the body had been there for a long time? Yes, quickly respond, Tessin, before I go back to Nalini. Quickly.
Rajdeep, 3 or 4 days before Sunanda passed away, she was admitted in Kerala in a hospital. I am aware of that, and common friends of ours are aware of that. There is that medical report where she was injected into her veins. She was given an intravenial tip. So those marks could also probably be because of that. An investigation would reveal. Hence, do not sensationalize the marks. That is the limited point that I want to make.
Yes, Nalini, you wanted to respond to that.
Yes. You know, a mark over here is not one where you inject something for lupus or whenever you go to the Kerala medical institution.
She was injected between her fingers.
Which is very.
She was injected between her fingers. The report says that.
Hold on, Tessin. Let Nalini Singh now respond.
In fact, if you go to her Twitter,
she was injected between her fingers. The report says that.
Let me say.
This is what the police commissioner says. When I asked him this, he says that these are the questions that the investigation will answer. We cannot at this stage now presume whether they were self-inflicted or whether they were inflicted by someone from the outside. That is the very basis which will decide the nature of this investigation.
Rajiv, yes, but I'm saying something else, which is this is when you have shown those pictures.
Yes.
This is the bed that Sunanda was talking to me from, because she was lying down. I could make that out. You see that when her hands are like this. It's the last thing, and I believe that the bed was also wet. Now I believe that this is what the people who are investigating, they just let on that much. Now I would say that to me it means the earth to see this, because I didn't, I was blind. I was on the other side of a phone call. I can still tell you after looking at this that Sunanda was not about to commit suicide. She was combative. She was she was aggressive.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Phone call. You're saying your one phone call has convinced you that she was not going to commit suicide.
No, Rajdeep, how can you say that? You know that I knew her for a long time.
It's your personal relationship. You're saying your relationship convinced you.
I'm just saying that if we are saying that something triggered it off, then it would be quite important what she was thinking in the last few moments or last. So I would say that it's not so. That this is not a woman who. This is a woman who had fight in her.
Okay,
Rajdeep, I'm sorry. I want to disagree with Nalini here. Nalini, I don't think was a close friend of hers, though she knew her well. Nalini herself says that she was agitated. She was agitated. Now it is public knowledge that she had been through a traumatic time. The mere fact that she had asked Nalini to do something is not inconsistent with the fact that she could have taken her life later. We are dealing with a very complex human mind in a very, very difficult situation. So the mere fact that she was being asked to do something doesn't mean a person couldn't have taken her life later.
I must say, I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying, please take all this and put it on the table.
That's right.
Oh, these are the many things that were happening at that time. That in fact, I am one voice that's saying she did speak to me.
I take your point, but Vikram Singh, the worry is that all these things that are now being put on the table are being put almost a year after the death occurred. Which is why my central question is, will the truth come out? Will this be another blind murder? Where at the end of the day, yes, you've got a body, yes, you've got marks, but yet you've got no conclusive evidence as of today to either prove that she was murdered or whether she committed suicide. Yes, she was poisoned. We will go by the medical board report and say she was poisoned. Question is, did she do it self-inflicted or did someone poison her? That is the investigation.
Rajdeep, let me tell you, I can bet on the fact that truth will come out. The police is on the right track.
It will come. You believe that does that then raise question that the police in the first few months was not on the right track?
Obviously, it was on the right track, but they did not have sufficient evidence to lodge the FIR under Section 302. It's only when they got conclusive evidence. You can't bungle in such high-profile cases.
That the medical board took 11 months to say it was an unnatural death.
Indeed, it is such a complicated case, and I dare say that it was since the scene of crime was dressed up, they made things difficult for the investigators and the Delhi police. That is why it has taken so long. And the police can be condoned for the fact that they are on the right track. They are pursuing the matter very vigorously. And now, let me tell you that there is nanotechnology. Let the poison disintegrate or fizzle out at any point of time. Spectroscopic analysis, and there are other technologies which will pinpoint the poisons.
So you're confident that this case will be cracked?
Certainly I'm confident.
You're confident that this case will be cracked? It is not a case of a blind murder?
No, it will not be a blind murder. There are too many evidence, glaring evidence, which if worked out and pursued vigorously will tell the entire in fact expose the
Rajdeep,
accused.
let me also point out.
Yes, quickly.
Rajdeep, initially, in fact, according to your own report, the medical board initially was not allowed to inspect the scene of crime. It was only later on, during month of September or October somewhere, that they could visit the scene of crime, and they also collected some evidence.
So are you saying there was political pressure? No, hold on, Aman Sinha, are you going to say there was political pressure not to crack this case? Is that what you're saying?
I am just stating some facts, which according to your own report you have stated. And it is for people to draw inference. But what I am pointing out, Rajdeep, is that initially they were not allowed to visit the scene of crime as per your own report.
I'm going to leave it there, because I think what we have to hope for is at the end of the day, there's a woman who died in tragic circumstances. Whether it was suicide, whether it was murder, time will tell, the investigation will tell. What is clear at the moment from what has come today is that it was an unnatural death. Yes. And that is the angle that the police must pursue and ensure justice is done. To all my guests, thank you very much for joining us. We don't want to play detective here on this channel, but we want the facts to come out in the public domain.